I was sitting in my car outside our apartment building, staring at the positive pregnancy test in my trembling hands. After 2 years with Tyler, this was the moment I had been dreaming about. My heart was racing with excitement as I imagined his face when I told him we were going to be parents. I had planned to wait until dinner to share the news, but the anticipation was killing me. I decided to surprise him and head home early from my doctor's appointment to celebrate together. Before I share how discovering the truth about the man I loved changed my entire life, let me know where you are watching from and hit that like button if you have ever trusted someone completely only to discover they were playing you. Subscribe, because what I heard next will make you question everything you think you know about the people closest to you. Let me take you back to how this all started, because understanding the foundation of our relationship makes what happened next even more devastating. I am Josephine, 31 years old, and I have worked my way up to marketing director at a tech company here in Denver. I make $85,000 a year and own my downtown apartment outright, something I am incredibly proud of since I have been financially independent since college. 2 years ago, I met Tyler Matthews at my favorite coffee shop near the office. He was 29, devastatingly handsome, with dark hair and green eyes that seemed to see right through me. Tyler introduced himself as an entrepreneur working on a revolutionary fitness app that was going to change how people approach personal training. He was charming, articulate, and had this way of making me feel like I was the most fascinating woman he had ever met. Our early dates were magical. Tyler insisted on paying for everything, bringing me flowers and planning romantic surprises that made my friends jealous. He would tell me about his ambitious business plans and how he was bootstrapping his startup with savings from his previous marketing job. I was impressed by his drive and vision, especially since I had always been attracted to ambitious men who shared my entrepreneurial spirit. After 8 months of dating, Tyler suggested moving in together. "It makes financial sense," he explained. "I am spending so much on rent for a place I barely use since I am always here anyway. Plus, I could really focus on getting my app to market if I did not have to worry about housing costs for a while." It seemed logical, and I was ready to take our relationship to the next level. That was when the financial dynamic began to shift subtly. Tyler moved into my apartment, but somehow never quite got around to contributing to the $2,800 monthly rent. When I brought it up, he would say, "Babe, just give me another month to get this funding round closed, then I will take over all the expenses." The funding never materialized, but somehow I kept accepting his explanations. Over the next 18 months, I found myself paying for everything: groceries, utilities, dining out, entertainment, and even Tyler's personal expenses when his business account was temporarily frozen or when he needed to invest every penny back into the company. I calculated later that I had advanced him over $15,000 for various business expenses that always seemed urgent and temporary. The red flags were there, but I chose to ignore them. Tyler would receive phone calls and immediately step outside to take them, claiming they were sensitive business discussions. His phone was always face down when we were together, and he would grab it quickly whenever it buzzed with notifications. When I tried to discuss our future together, marriage or having children, he would deflect by talking about how we needed to wait until his app launched and we had more financial security. But I was so deeply in love that I rationalized every concerning behavior. Tyler was affectionate, attentive, and seemed genuinely excited about building a life with me. When he told me he loved me, I believed him completely. When he talked about our future together, I hung on every word. I had been single for 3 years before meeting Tyler, and honestly, I was ready to have a partner and start a family. My parents divorced when I was 16, and the experience left me with a deep longing for the stable, loving family I never had growing up. Tyler seemed like the perfect partner to build that dream with. He was supportive of my career, encouraged my ambitions, and made me feel like we were a team working towards shared goals. The pregnancy was not exactly planned, but it was not unwanted either. I had been dropping hints about wanting children for months, And Tyler always said we would start trying soon. When my period was late and the test came back positive, I felt this incredible rush of joy and anticipation. This was our chance to become the family I had always wanted. Sitting in my car that afternoon, looking at the positive test, I felt like everything in my life was finally falling into place. I had a successful career, a beautiful home, a man I adored, and now we were going to have a baby together. I imagined Tyler's reaction when I told him. Maybe he would finally propose, or at least start talking seriously about our timeline for getting married. I pictured us calling our families together, shopping for baby furniture, and planning our new life as parents. I was so lost in these happy fantasies that I almost talked myself into waiting until our planned dinner date to share the news. But the excitement was overwhelming, and I wanted to see his face when I told him. I wanted us to have the whole evening to celebrate and dream about our future together. I parked my car and practically floated up the stairs to our apartment, clutching the pregnancy test in my purse. As I reached the landing, I could hear Tyler's voice through our slightly open window, and he was laughing. My heart swelled because he sounded so happy, and I could not wait to give him even more reason to celebrate. I was about to put my key in the lock when I heard him say, "God, I miss you so much, Sophia. This is killing me." I froze on the doorstep, my hand suspended in midair. Sophia, who was Sophia? And why did Tyler sound so intimate? Through the crack in the window, I could hear a female voice responding through what sounded like FaceTime. "When are you going to leave her, Ty? I am getting tired of waiting for you to figure this out." My world tilted sideways. Leave me. Tyler was planning to leave me. With shaking hands, I pressed myself against the wall next to the window, straining to hear every word while my heart hammered in my chest. Tyler's voice came through clearly now. "Soon, baby. I just need a few more months to get enough money saved up from this situation. Then I can move out to Seattle, and we can be together like we planned." The woman Sophia laughed in a way that made my skin crawl. "She is really that stupid. She just gives you money whenever you ask. What happened next will be burned into my memory forever." Tyler laughed, actually laughed, and said, "She is so stupid and desperate. She believes everything I tell her. I am just using her for her money until you take me back. She is pathetic and actually thinks we are going to get married someday." I had to grip the door frame to keep from collapsing. The pregnancy test felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds in my purse. This could not be happening. This could not be real. But it got worse. Sophia asked, "Does not she ever get suspicious? Like, do not you feel bad using her like that?" Tyler's response destroyed what was left of my heart. "Why should I feel bad? She is getting what she wants, which is a boyfriend. I am getting what I need, which is financial support, until my real life starts when you take me back. She is so lonely and desperate for love that she will do anything to keep me happy. It is honestly the perfect setup." I pressed my hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound. 2 years of my life. 2 years of love, trust, financial support, and emotional investment. All of it was a lie. Every "I love you," every plan we made together, every intimate moment we shared, was all part of an elaborate con game. Sophia's voice came through the phone again. "What if she finds out what you are really doing?" "She will not," Tyler said confidently. "She is too trusting and too scared of being alone. Besides, she thinks I am this amazing entrepreneur who just needs support while I build my empire. She has no idea I am only with her for her money and this nice apartment downtown. The business is completely fake, but she buys into every story I tell her." The business was fake. Everything was fake. I thought about all the times I had bragged to my friends about Tyler's ambition and drive. All the money I had given him for business expenses. All the times I had defended him when friends suggested he might be taking advantage of me. Then came the part that made me physically nauseous. Sophia asked, "Do you ever even touch her?" Like romantically? Tyler actually groaned in disgust. Only when I have to maintain the illusion. It is honestly disgusting, but it is the price I pay for free rent and spending money. She is so grateful for any attention that a little affection goes a long way. She practically worships me. Both of them started laughing, and I realized they were laughing at me. At my love, my trust, my generosity, my loneliness. I was nothing more than a joke to them, a pathetic woman so desperate for love that she could be easily manipulated and financially exploited. My hands were shaking so violently that I almost dropped my purse. The positive pregnancy test inside suddenly felt like a cruel joke from the universe. I was carrying the child of a man who found touching me disgusting, who was counting down the days until he could escape our relationship and be with someone else. For a moment, I considered bursting through the door and confronting them both. I wanted to scream, to throw things, to demand explanations. But something stopped me. Maybe it was shock, maybe it was self-preservation. But I realized that confronting Tyler immediately would only give him a chance to manipulate the situation further. Instead, I quietly backed away from the door and tiptoed down the stairs. My mind was racing as I sat in my car trying to process what I had just learned. Tyler was planning to leave me anyway. He had been using me for money. He was in love with someone else. Our entire relationship was built on lies and manipulation. But then a different kind of clarity settled over me. If Tyler wanted to play games, I could play games too. If he thought I was stupid and gullible, maybe it was time to show him exactly how wrong he was. I was not going to be his victim. I was going to be his worst nightmare. I sat in my car for 10 more minutes, collecting myself and formulating a plan. Then I walked back up to the apartment, made sure to slam the front door loud enough for Tyler to hear me coming, and called out cheerfully, "Tyler, I am home early. How has your day been?" When he came out of the bedroom, looking slightly flustered but quickly recovering with his trademark charming smile, I studied his face with new eyes. Every expression, every gesture, every word that came out of his mouth was calculated manipulation. But now I knew the truth, and knowledge was power. "Hey, babe," he said, kissing my forehead, in the same way he had done 1,000 times before. "You are early. How was your appointment?" "Oh, it went great," I said, smiling brightly while my heart shattered into a million pieces. "Just routine stuff. How was your day? You sounded like you were having a good conversation when I came up the stairs." "Just a business call," he said easily. "You know how it is. Always something with the investors." The lie rolled off his tongue so smoothly that I almost admired his skill at deception. That night, as Tyler slept peacefully beside me, probably dreaming of his future with Sophia, I stared at the ceiling and planned his destruction. He had no idea that his stupid and desperate girlfriend was about to become his biggest mistake. The next morning after Tyler left for his fake business meetings, I began my investigation. My first stop was social media, where I searched for Sophia Williams. It did not take long to find her. She was beautiful blonde and clearly wealthy based on her Instagram posts featuring exotic vacations and designer clothing. Her bio mentioned living in Seattle and working in marketing just like me. As I scrolled through her posts, the pieces fell into place. Photos from college showed her with Tyler tagged as her boyfriend. More recent posts had cryptic captions about waiting for the right person and knowing what you deserve. She had been posting these for months, apparently waiting for Tyler to leave me and return to her. I spent the entire day documenting everything I could find. Screenshots of her social media reverse image searches to verify her identity, and even LinkedIn research that confirmed she worked for a high-end marketing firm in Seattle. This woman was Tyler's exit strategy, and he had been planning his escape for months while I supported him financially and emotionally. Next, I tackled our financial records. I pulled up 2 years' worth of bank statements, credit card bills, and receipts. The numbers were staggering. I had paid $47,000 to support Tyler's lifestyle and fake business ventures. rent, groceries, utilities, dining out, entertainment, and direct transfers to his account for emergency business expenses that never seemed to end. I created a detailed spreadsheet documenting every expense, every transfer, every lie about repayment that never materialized. I had receipts for everything, including text messages where Tyler promised to pay me back as soon as the funding comes through, or after this big client pays their invoice. My third step was legal consultation. I made an appointment with Sarah Kim, an attorney recommended by a colleague who had gone through a messy divorce. Sarah listened to my story with professional sympathy and helped me understand my options. "The good news is that you own the apartment outright, so he has no legal claim to it," Sarah explained. "The bad news is that recovering the money you gave him voluntarily will be challenging unless we can prove fraud. However, the fact that he was maintaining a relationship with someone else while taking your money under false pretenses might give us some leverage." Sarah helped me understand the eviction process and my rights as a property owner. In our state, I could require Tyler to leave with 30 days' notice, but I wanted to be strategic about timing. I also learned about harassment laws and restraining orders, which I had a feeling I might need. Over the next week, I played the perfect girlfriend while secretly preparing for war. I was sweet, supportive, and completely normal, which seemed to relieve Tyler. He had no idea that I was documenting his lies, planning his eviction, and building a case against him. The hardest part was deciding what to do about the pregnancy. I made an appointment with my OB/GYN and learned that I was about 6 weeks along. Everything looked healthy, and despite the circumstances, I felt a fierce protective love for this tiny life growing inside me. Tyler had shown me who he really was, but this baby was innocent. I realized that discovering Tyler's deception was actually a gift. Better to learn the truth now than after we were married or after the baby was born. I was financially stable enough to raise a child on my own, and I would rather be a single mother than be married to a man who found me disgusting. But Tyler was not going to get away with using me for 2 years and then disappearing into the sunset with someone else. He was going to face consequences for his actions, starting with the immediate loss of his comfortable lifestyle. I hired a private investigator to document Tyler's activities while I was at work. The PI, a former police detective named Marcus, was thorough and discreet. Within 3 days, he had photographic evidence of Tyler bringing Sophia to my apartment while I was at the office. They were using my home, my bed, and my belongings, while mocking me behind my back. The photos were damning. Sophia wearing my jewelry, the two of them drinking wine I had purchased, intimate moments captured through my own windows. Marcus also managed to record conversations through open windows, including more discussions about how pathetic I was and how they could not wait to be together permanently. The final piece of evidence came when Tyler asked me for another emergency loan of $5,000 for urgent business expenses. I agreed, immediately transferring the money while secretly documenting this as the final proof of his fraudulent intent. There was no business, no emergency, and no intention of repayment. This was pure theft disguised as a romantic relationship. 2 weeks after overhearing that devastating phone conversation, I was ready to execute my plan. I had legal counsel documented evidence of financial fraud, proof of his deception, and a clear strategy for removing him from my life permanently. I took a fake sick day from work and prepared for the confrontation that would change both our lives forever. Tyler had no idea that his stupid and desperate girlfriend was about to become the smartest person in the room. The morning I decided to end Tyler's comfortable lifestyle started like any other. He kissed me goodbye and left for another day of fake business meetings, probably planning to spend time with Sophia in my apartment later. But today would be different, because I was ready to reveal everything I knew. I waited until Tyler had been gone for an hour, then called in reinforcements. My attorney Sarah Kim agreed to be available via video call as a witness. My friend Maria, who had never liked Tyler, came over to provide moral support and help document everything. I also arranged for building security to be present in case Tyler became aggressive when confronted with the truth. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I heard Tyler's key in the lock. He came home earlier than usual, probably planning to clean up any evidence of Sophia's visit before I returned from work. Instead, he walked into a carefully orchestrated intervention. "Tyler, I am so glad you are here," I said cheerfully from the living room. "I have some wonderful news to share with you." He looked relaxed and happy, probably anticipating another evening of my financial support and fake affection. "What is up, babe? You seem excited." "I am pregnant," I announced, watching his face carefully. "We are going to have a baby." The blood drained from Tyler's face. His mouth opened and closed several times without making a sound. This was not part of his exit strategy. A baby would complicate his plans to disappear with Sophia and make it much harder to justify abandoning me. Before he could recover enough to fake enthusiasm, I continued, "Oh, and Tyler, I want you to meet my attorney, Sarah Kim. She is joining us via video call today." I turned my laptop around so he could see Sarah's professional smile on the screen. "What is this about?" Tyler asked, his voice cracking slightly. "This is about honesty," I said calmly. "For example, I should be honest with you about the fact that I heard your conversation with Sophia 2 weeks ago. You know, the one where you called me stupid and desperate and discussed your plans to use me for money until she takes you back." Tyler's face went completely white. He looked around the room frantically, probably searching for an escape route or trying to figure out how to spin this situation in his favor. "Josephine, I can explain," he started, but I held up my hand to stop him. "Actually, you cannot explain this," I said, pulling out a thick folder of documents. "Because I have 2 weeks' worth of evidence documenting your fraud, theft, and deception. Photos of you bringing Sophia to my apartment, recordings of you mocking me, financial records showing $47,000 you have stolen from me over 2 years, and proof that your entire business is fictional." I spread the photos across the coffee table like playing cards. Tyler and Sophia in my bed. Sophia wearing my jewelry. The two of them laughing and drinking my wine while planning their future together. "Sarah, would you please explain to Tyler what legal consequences he is facing?" Sarah's voice came through the laptop speakers with professional authority. "Mr. Matthews, you are potentially facing criminal charges for fraud, theft by deception, and unlawful use of property. The evidence Ms. Josephine has gathered demonstrates a pattern of deliberate financial exploitation under false pretenses." Tyler tried to interrupt, but Sarah continued. "You have 24 hours to remove your personal belongings from this apartment. Any attempt to contact Ms. Josephine after that time will result in harassment charges. The $47,000 you have taken unlawfully needs to be repaid through a court-ordered settlement, or criminal charges will be filed immediately." "You cannot do this," Tyler said desperately. "I have nowhere to go. I gave up everything to be with you." "You gave up nothing," I replied coldly. "You have been planning to leave me for months. The only difference is that now you are leaving without stealing any more of my money or wasting any more of my time." Tyler tried every manipulation tactic in his playbook. He cried, claiming he really loved me and had just been confused. He begged, promising to cut contact with Sophia and commit fully to our relationship. He even tried anger, accusing me of violating his privacy and setting him up. None of it worked, because I had heard his true feelings 2 weeks earlier. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Tyler had shown me that he found me pathetic and disgusting, that he was only with me for financial gain, and that he was planning to abandon me anyway. The security guard I had requested arrived at 4 p.m. to ensure Tyler's departure remained peaceful. By 6 p.m., Tyler had packed his clothes and personal items into garbage bags and was standing in my doorway looking like a lost child. "Josephine, please," he said one last time. "I made mistakes, but I do love you. We can work through this. What about the baby? The baby will be better off without a father who finds her mother disgusting," I said firmly. "You made your choice when you decided to use me. Now live with the consequences." After Tyler left, I changed all the locks, updated my security system, and blocked his number on all platforms. For the first time in 2 weeks, I could breathe freely in my own home. The apartment felt lighter without his toxic presence and false energy. That night, I called my parents and told them about the pregnancy and the breakup. I did not go into details about Tyler's deception, just said that we had discovered we wanted different things. My mother was disappointed about the failed relationship, but excited about becoming a grandmother. I also reached out to close friends who had been suspicious of Tyler from the beginning. They rallied around me, immediately offering support and sharing their own relief that I had finally seen his true nature. But Tyler was not going to disappear quietly. Over the next week, he called constantly from different numbers, sent emails from new accounts, and even showed up at my workplace. Each contact was documented as evidence for the restraining order I knew I would need. The breaking point came exactly 2 weeks after our confrontation during a thunderstorm that perfectly matched the drama Tyler was about to create outside my building. At 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night, I was awakened by what sounded like someone screaming my name. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard it again. Clearer this time. Josephine. Please, I need to talk to you. I looked out my bedroom window and saw Tyler standing in the pouring rain in front of my building, completely soaked and obviously drunk. He was looking up at my window, shouting at the top of his lungs while lightning flashed around him like something out of a dramatic movie. Josephine, I am sorry, I love you. Please give me another chance, he screamed, waking up half the neighborhood. Lights were coming on in windows throughout the building as residents were disturbed by the commotion. I watched from my window as Tyler stumbled around the sidewalk, alternating between declarations of love and angry accusations. You cannot just throw away 2 years. What about our baby? I have rights, he shouted, apparently forgetting that he had called me disgusting and pathetic just weeks earlier. My phone was buzzing with calls from the building's security desk and angry neighbors demanding that something be done about the disturbance. I called 911 and reported that my ex-boyfriend was violating the restraining order and disturbing the peace. When the police arrived, Tyler was sitting on the curb sobbing dramatically. The officers tried to reason with him, first explaining that he needed to leave immediately or face arrest. Tyler responded by screaming about how I had ruined his life and stolen his future. Sir, you need to calm down and come with us, one officer said firmly. But Tyler was beyond rational thought. He started running toward my building, trying to get past the security guard to reach the elevators. That was when they arrested him. I watched from my window as Tyler was handcuffed and placed in the back of a police car, still screaming my name and making threats about getting back what belongs to me. The next morning, I received a call from the prosecutor's office. Tyler was being charged with harassment, trespassing, violation of a restraining order, and disturbing the peace. His dramatic scene in the rain had been witnessed by dozens of neighbors and recorded by building security cameras. More importantly, his arrest triggered an investigation into the financial fraud case Sarah had prepared. With Tyler now in the legal system, prosecutors were willing to pursue criminal charges for the money he had stolen from me. The court proceedings moved quickly. Tyler, faced with multiple criminal charges and no money for a good attorney, accepted a plea deal that included 3 years of probation, mandatory anger management classes, and a court-ordered restitution plan requiring him to pay back $30,000 over 36 months. During this time, I was focused on my pregnancy and rebuilding my life without Tyler's toxic influence. The first trimester had been difficult due to stress, but once Tyler was legally required to stay away from me, my health and emotional state improved dramatically. I converted the spare room into a beautiful nursery painted soft yellow, since I wanted to be surprised by the baby's gender. Shopping for tiny clothes and furniture filled me with joy and excitement about becoming a mother, even under these circumstances. My work performance actually improved without Tyler's constant emotional drain. I no longer had to worry about supporting 2 people financially, and I no longer had to listen to his fake business problems or manage his emotional neediness. I received a promotion to senior marketing director with a 20% salary increase, putting me in an even stronger position to provide for my child. The most unexpected benefit of Tyler's departure was the community of support that emerged around me. When word spread through my professional network about what had happened, other women reached out to share similar experiences. I learned that Tyler's pattern of behavior was not unique. Financial and emotional manipulation in relationships was more common than I had realized. I began speaking at local support groups about recognizing the warning signs of financial abuse in relationships. My story helped 3 other women identify similar manipulation in their own relationships and find the courage to leave before more damage was done. 6 months after Tyler's arrest, I received a letter from him through his attorney. He wanted to apologize and discuss his parental rights regarding the baby I was carrying. The letter was full of self-pity and claims that he had learned from his mistakes and wanted to be a better man. My response, delivered through Sarah, was simple. Mr. Matthews abandoned this child before birth when he planned to leave its mother for another woman. He showed no interest in being a father during the 2 years we were together, and his criminal behavior demonstrates he is unfit for parental responsibilities. Tyler never pursued the matter further, probably because he realized that establishing paternity would also establish his obligation for child support, something his minimum wage job could not handle. 8 months after discovering Tyler's betrayal, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl I named Emma Rose. Emma for new beginning, and Rose for hope. Holding her for the first time, I felt overwhelmed with love and gratitude for this unexpected blessing in my life. Emma was perfect in every way. She had my dark hair and Tyler's green eyes, but thankfully none of his capacity for deception. As I looked at her tiny face, I realized that Tyler's betrayal had been the universe's way of protecting us both from a lifetime of lies and manipulation. The first year of Emma's life was challenging, but incredibly rewarding. Single motherhood required careful time management and strong support systems, but I had both. My parents were actively involved. Grandparents? My friends provided regular help and companionship, and my financial stability meant I could afford excellent childcare when needed. Tyler made one final attempt to contact me when Emma was 6 months old. He had completed his anger management program and claimed he was a changed man who wanted to meet his daughter. The message came through a mutual acquaintance who felt sorry for him. My response was final. Tyler chose to abandon Emma before she was born when he planned to leave us for another woman. That was his decision, and he has to live with the consequences. Emma deserves better than a father who would find her mother disgusting and use her as a financial pawn. 18 months after Emma's birth, my life had transformed completely. I had been promoted again at work, Emma was thriving as a happy and healthy toddler, and I had started dating someone new, a pediatric nurse named David, who adored both Emma and me. Tyler, meanwhile, had never recovered from the destruction of his comfortable lifestyle. Through mutual connections, I learned that he was still living with his parents in a small town outside the city, working part-time at a warehouse, and struggling to make his court-ordered restitution payments. Sophia had blocked him on all platforms after his arrest made their relationship too complicated to maintain. Looking back now, I can honestly say that discovering Tyler's betrayal was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It hurt tremendously at the time, but it also freed me from a relationship built on lies and gave me the opportunity to become the mother Emma deserved and the woman I was always meant to be. The most important lesson I learned was the difference between love and manipulation. Real love involves honesty, respect, and genuine care for the other person's well-being. What Tyler offered me was exploitation disguised as romance designed to benefit him while keeping me emotionally dependent and financially generous. I also learned to trust my instincts. The red flags had been there from the beginning, but I had ignored them because I wanted to believe Tyler's version of our story. Now I know that when someone's actions do not match their words consistently, It is time to pay attention to what they are doing rather than what they are saying. Most importantly, I learned that I was stronger than I had ever imagined. I survived betrayal, financial exploitation, harassment, and single motherhood, and I came out of it all better than before. Emma and I built a beautiful life together, surrounded by people who genuinely love and support us. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you leads to the best thing that ever happened to you. Tyler's betrayal hurt, but it also led me to Emma and to a deeper understanding of my own strength and worth. I used to think love meant accepting whatever treatment someone gave you. Now I know that real love means knowing you deserve honesty, respect, and partnership. And sometimes the greatest gift life gives you is showing you exactly what you do not want, so you can recognize what you do deserve. Have you ever discovered that someone you trusted completely was using you? How did you find the strength to walk away from a relationship that was built on lies? Share your story in the comments below, and let me know if this resonated with your own experiences. Please hit that like button if this story reminded you that you deserve better than someone who would exploit your love and generosity. Do not forget to subscribe for more stories about finding strength in difficult situations and building better lives after betrayal. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear that they are stronger than they know, and that sometimes the worst betrayals lead to the best new beginnings. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that your worth is never determined by how someone else chooses to treat you. You deserve love that builds you up, not tears you down, and you have the strength to create the life you truly want.